Police in Hertfordshire have paid out £20,000 in damages to a couple who were arrested after making complaints about their daughter's primary school. Rosalind Levine and Maxie Allen say they were held at a police station for 11 hours after being detained by 6 officers on suspicion of harassment, malicious communications and causing a nuisance on school property. The force has now admitted the arrests were unlawful. Rosalind and Maxie join me now. You must be relieved, Maxie.
Yes, it was quite an emotional moment when the email came through from our lawyer a few days ago, because I suppose it's a form of vindication and exoneration, because if you're arrested but you're never charged, there's never a trial, the only way to get an exoneration is to go through a wrongful arrest procedure. And the thing is, of course, that other people were put through the ringer by this. Our 3-year-old daughter, who was there when we were arrested, our other daughter, who was in her first week at her new school, our neighbours, who some of them were in tears at what had happened, and our family. So I think getting to this outcome means quite a lot to quite a lot of people.
Yeah. And Rosalind, the daughter you were complaining about the school, if I'm getting that right, complaining about, nevertheless, she has learning difficulties. And a lot of parents will recognise the frustration they have in getting the provision they want for their children.
Yeah, I mean, I think you don't really understand until you have a child with special educational needs just how much you have to fight for them. You know, we have been fighting to get her the extra help that she needs in school. We've also had to have discussions about all of her new teachers being trained to manage her epilepsy. There's just a lot of thought that goes into managing somebody with special educational needs. It's difficult.
Because you were spoken to by police prior to 6 of them marching up your path and knocking on the door. And that was caught by your door camera there. You were spoken to and probably thought, I mean, when they even spoke to you, you must have thought, hang on, this has gone a bit far.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was just me. It was only me that the police officer spoke to in December last year, about 5 weeks before the arrest. And the main thing he wanted to say was to talk about how our interactions with the school began in this way, which is that I'd been a governor, and then there was really confused process around recruiting a new head teacher. And I made some queries. I didn't think it was being done right. I don't think they liked that with my queries. And when the police officer came to our house, he said, stop asking about the head teacher recruitment process, which I thought was quite a strange thing for a police officer to say. He also advised us to take our daughter out of the school, which, again, is a strange thing for a police officer to get involved with.
It is, yeah.
Even then, I thought this is really strange. But we kind of thought that was it. And then it wasn't, because 5 weeks later, they turned up in force.
A couple of other questions. I mean, there's so many questions, right? Because it's just so out of the ordinary. What are the police like with actual crime in your area? If you wanted 6 coppers to turn up because of, I don't know, a mugging or a burglary or whatever, would you expect them to do that?
From my understanding, they're one of the worst performing forces in England and Wales. I think I read somewhere that they only solved 12% of crimes last year. You kind of hope that they would be focusing on the real crimes. If people's houses are broken into, any kind of assault, you think those are the things that they should be turning up in force for, not somebody saying what essentially boils down to some hurty words.
I was slightly different to you, actually, because there have been a number of quite high-profile cases in Hertfordshire. I mean, the most high-profile, the horrific incidents involving the Hunt family and the Crossbow murders, which are ambitious.
Yes.
And there are a number of high-profile incidents where actually Hertfordshire police responded extremely well, and they dealt with the situation and very serious crimes very professionally. So that's there on one hand, and then on the other hand, our case. It's very strange how you marry those two things up.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately we've settled our case, and they've made an offer which we've accepted because it's a pretty good one. But there are questions about how this happened and who made the decision and why. which will now forever remain a mystery.
We'll never find out how these decisions were made.
Yeah, it is also a salient reminder to everyone else that when you go on a WhatsApp group, everyone's reading it. I mean, that has to be a reminder of this as well, doesn't it? Thank you.
But the thing about that, though, is
very quick, Maxie.
That's quite an important part of the story, because if you have a private WhatsApp group, you don't really think that a public authority is going to be kind of collecting them and intervening and then storing them up to use against you. That's not on.
We've seen that time and again, though, haven't we? People don't know who else might be on that group, and then it ends up going somewhere you don't expect it to.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you both joining us. Thank you very much indeed.